We are live with day 2. So excited. I feel like this week is already flying by. I'm not trying to wish it gone, but I can't believe it's already day 2. I feel like I've been waiting so long for this to start, and now it's here, and we're just moving along, and it's super fun seeing everybody's manifestation stories so far, and kind of just them deciding what they're going to manifest and how they're going to manifest it and all of the things. So as everybody's starting to hop on, hi, happy Tuesday. It's Taylor, Mindset and Success Coach, and I'm really excited about today. Like, this lesson today is my jam. It's my favorite thing to talk about. It's the thing I deep dive the most into in all of my programs because it's just, I think, a really important thing, and I think it's so lacking in the world of manifestation and spirituality. So as you guys are logging on, say hi, say what's up. Super excited to see who's here. How has everything been going with seeing your signs? How do you feel? How did taking inventory go? Was it a wake-up call to you, some of you guys? Were you really surprised with how many good things you could tally versus negative things you could tally? Was that like super surprising to you? I want to hear your feedback and how that went. Hello, Haley. Hi, Becky. Hi, Caitlin. Yay. Hi, Katie. Hey, everyone. Cool. A bunch of people are hopping on. So, trying to stall for another second to let people log on because sometimes the Facebook Lives are delayed a little bit, which is annoying. Like when I first stop the video, I think you'll have to wait like a couple minutes for it to like render. So I don't know what the delay is. So trying to give everyone some grace. Hi, Tara. Hey, Leah. So happy you guys are all here. Okay, so what are we talking about today? Energy and frequency, and a little bit more about the brain and the science part of manifestation for everyone who can't just get behind spirituality without a deeper understanding. And I get it. I totally understand that, and that's why I like to talk about this piece of it so much, because I've always been spiritual based. Like, I grew up Christian. I've always believed in God. We were always in church. But the science backing behind the principles we're talking about really, really like drove it home to me. I was like, okay, now putting the two worlds together, there's no way that this is not a real thing. So I think it's really important to talk about both elements. Hi, Sarah. She said she saw her sign 2 days in a row. Amazing. Hey, Gail. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Shayna. Made me think more positively on purpose. Yeah. So a lot of the people were like, what's the point of tallying your thoughts? Really just to bring awareness to if there was a problem or not. And when you're more conscious about what you're thinking about, you think about better things. And that's a huge thing when we're talking about the law of attraction. Becky says, I have more negative thoughts than positive, which I knew, but it was good to actually write them down and see it. Yes. Perfect. Hey, Alyssa. One of my best friends, Alyssa, is here. So cool. Hey, Sheila. Tuning in from Ireland. How cool. Okay, awesome that you guys are seeing your signs. So, today we're talking about energy and frequency, so let's just dive into it. Basically, the way our brain works is it creates a product of our past environment. So our brain basically just takes experiences, situations, and feelings and circumstances, and it kind of like stores it in what's going on up here. And you guys hear people say that cliche, which I think is a limiting belief, is history repeats itself. And the reason that history repeats itself is because our brain is just an imprint of things that have happened in the past. So we are essentially always living in the past if we're always thinking about past things. And anytime you're thinking about future things, you're also on the other end. So it's like this fine line in the middle where it's like you're thinking about the past, you're living in the past. If you're thinking about the future, you're living in the future. If you're thinking about everything happening right in this moment, now your awareness is central, and now your brain is going to have space to create the things you want rather than attaching to the familiar things and the things that you're comfortable with. So with every thought, with every feeling, with every emotion, with every belief, with every conversation you participate to, with all these pieces and choices that make you who you are, you're hardwiring your brain every single time you make a choice in what to say, what to think about, what to believe, what to feel. So the more you can choose better, choose positive, choose empowering and intentional thoughts, you're going to start to re-hardwire your brain. But like we talked about yesterday, most of us are so on autopilot all the time because our subconscious mind stops developing at age 7. So everything that's been deep-rooted in your childhood, it's going to take more than a day, an hour, a week to re-hardwire your brain to get it to think in a different way. Because every time you have a thought, basically what happens is you have a chemical change, you have a change in physiology, you have a change in everything that's flowing through you, and that all impacts your frequency, which is what we're going to talk about today. So let's start with the law of vibration. I think this is the second most important thing. The law of attraction is the most popular, but really I think the law of vibration is way more important because it's founded on this. Everything is energy. And we know that scientifically. We can't argue that, just like we can't argue the law of gravity. Everything is made of atoms. So what researchers decided to do, finally, they said, okay, if everything is made of atoms, that's great. But what is an atom made of? What's going on at the subatomic level? Subatomic just meaning like inside of the atom. So when they dove into this, they actually found that an atom is 99.999139 empty space, empty energy potential. So if everything is made up of atoms, and atoms are 99.999% empty energy potential, that means that we are surrounded by this infinite energy potential. We are made of this infinite energy potential all the time, like it's everywhere. So what does that tell us, and why is that important with manifestation? Well, because we also are energy. So we have the same energetic vibrations as this table or this cup or my earrings, whatever it is. Everything is giving off an energetic vibration. It's measured on a frequency level in something called megahertz. We're not going to go super deep into that because it's not so important for the concepts we're talking about today. But everything is energy. Energy is measured by this vibrational frequency, and the goal is to raise your vibration to align and match the things you want. So how do you raise your vibration? That's always the question. It's always like, you know what you have to do, but how do you do it? And it goes back to reprogramming the subconscious mind. I'm getting a little bit off track, so let me check my notes to make sure I don't go on forever, because I can go on forever about this. Okay, so everything carries energy, everything has vibrations. What is most important is that these energetic vibrations carry frequency, and frequency carries information. So I like to call these divine downloads. So that's why I say, and everyone else says, you have everything within you because you have these vibrational poles going up and down all the time that carry the information. The problem is our subconscious is too distracted, it's too busy, our brain is living in the past, all of these things, right? That we don't hear or listen to or understand the divine downloads we're getting through the different energies. So if our thoughts impact our frequency, and our feelings impact our frequency, and our beliefs impact our frequency, and these things are changing all the time, that means our frequency changes moment to moment. Our frequency depends on our state of being. And our state of being, obviously, it changes. We have good moments, we react, we respond, we hurt, we laugh, we cry. We're stressed, we're anxious, we're trying to be conscious, but we're thinking about, paying the bills and yada, yada, yada. So that is where the whole conversation starts. Like, we have to be more intentional in the present moment, consciously, intentionally deciding about what we're thinking about and what we're choosing to be true. Because negative self-talk, self-hate, judgment of other people, gossip, like not believing in yourself, saying you can't afford those things, all those things have a very low frequency. So when you're putting out words like that, you are now in vibrational alignment through the law of vibration, through the law of attraction, with low frequency things. So when you start to look around, you're going to notice that you get those flat tires, or you're constantly stressed, and you have these lower frequency things happening in your life. when you start to see things like, I'm a six-figure earner just for being my authentic self, and the more I make, the more I can serve, and the more I can help people, and everything is always working for my greater good, and empowering people and accepting people and giving people unconditional love and focusing on gratitude, now you're at a whole different frequency, because all those things are at a much higher frequency. So when you're up there, you're vibrating a lot higher, and then you are going to attract more high vibrational things. People say like good vibes only, high vibes only. It's broken up into this. Like, it's not just a cute saying. They literally mean high vibration only, because that is what we attract when that's what we embody. And what it really, really comes down to is everything is moving all the time. All this energy is moving all the time. We live in an ocean of motion. The energy never stops. So it's not like we have a bad day and our vibrations just aren't, vibrating as strong. Everything's constantly moving. The vibrations of your thoughts change every single moment. The vibrations of your feelings change every single moment. And I think the thing to really remember when we're talking about intentionally raising our vibration and raising our frequency is that emotion follows thought. So think about the thoughts you had. That's why we did a thought inventory yesterday, so you could be brutally honest with yourself about how much negative self-talk and just negativity is floating around in that mind of yours, maybe potentially before yesterday, before you were even realizing it. So now all those negative things, those judgments, those poor me, that victim mentality, the pissed off, the resent, the anger, the stress, the depression, the anxiety, now you know that those things all carry a really low vibration. So if you're looking at your list and you're noticing that you had a lot more negative tallies than positive tallies, you can start to connect the dots and say, okay, now I understand scientifically why circumstances might not look the way I want them to, because that's not the frequency that I'm putting out. So it starts in the mind. It starts when you're re-hardwiring the brain to create present experiences that will create present thoughts and present feelings. And when you're always thinking in the now, there's no room and space for the yesterday or the tomorrow or the 5 minutes ago or the 5 minutes from now. It's all about being in this very moment. But as people, we have a hard time with that. We are always thinking about what we could have done better, what we should have done better. We hold on to things. It's like a drug. It honestly is like a drug. And I've read lots of books that say when you are familiar with and likely to feel anxious and stressed and depressed all the time, the chemical triggers that we were talking about in the body, it's like an addiction. You become addicted to those emotions. You become addicted to those sensations. And that's why it's so easy to play the victim and say, poor me. Because you literally have a chemical body addiction to those feelings. So you have to re-hardwire the brain by, one, becoming aware, and that's what we did yesterday. We started becoming aware of the thoughts and the feelings that were going on internally. The next step is to replace it with something better, because every time you cut yourself and every time you replace it with something different, you are re-hardwiring your brain, and you have to do that over and over and over again, because the whole mastery is through repetition. It's going to take time. It's going to take discipline. And want to know what? The brutally honest truth is you're not always going to want to feel like it. I understand manifestation, and there are some days where I am just so stressed and so anxious, and I say to myself as I sit here, God, it would be so much easier, honestly, just to vent and talk about my bad day and talk about how pissed off I am and how many things I have going on. It would be so much easier, and it would feel good to release that. But what would that really be doing for me? It would be setting me at a really low vibration. It would be sending low vibrations out. I would attract more bad days. So I have to pick myself up on the days that it's easier to be on autopilot, and it's easier to play the victim, to say, everything in life is happening for me, not to me. Today was tough. I learned something from it. When I learn something, I grow. When I grow personally, I grow spiritually, I grow emotionally, I grow with my friends, my relationship and my marriage grows, my business grows. You have to keep yourself in check. You are responsible for your frequency, and it changes moment to moment. So it's really, really important to be in tuned as much as possible and make this a lifestyle change rather than just a 4-day shift, because it's all about the long game. Your mind does not know the difference between reality and what's going on in your mind. So let's talk about meditation. That's why meditation is so powerful, because when we can change our thoughts, which in the end, through repetition, will change the way we feel, that changes our frequency, that changes the way we attract things into our life, that changes our circumstances, that changes what our life looks like, because your brain is now rehardwired. Now you're perceiving life differently, and you're not creating something that wasn't there before. I just want to highlight that. You are just now vibrating at a frequency where you can align with it and see it and call it in more clearer. But it's not because it wasn't there before. So that's why when we're talking about manifestation and embodying and acting as if, that's why it's so important. So when you're sitting there in meditation, in the present moment, thinking about, you know, your dream life or your $1 million self, your $1 million business, things you want to feel, relationships you want to mend, things you want to attract, when you're feeling that and sitting that, and you can tap into that sensation through meditation, your eyes are closed, your brain doesn't know that those thoughts and these feelings aren't associated with the tangible reality that's outside of us right now. What you're doing is reprogramming your subconscious mind to say, okay, those are the things that I'm expecting with elevated emotion. Those are the things that I believe to be true. Those are the things that I feel. That's impacting your frequency. And now your subconscious mind is going to work like the loyal puppy it is to call all of these things into your life. So that's why all of these principles are so important. Okay, I'm catching up on comments. Hi guys. Hi Kelsey. Hi, Alex. Hi, Christina. Okay, so many people are here now. Hi, Katie. So let's talk about ways that you can raise your frequency. Now that we kind of talked about what it is and what impacts it, which is our state-to-state moment, right? Moment-to-moment state. Wow. So the first thing is to change our thoughts. Change the way you think. It's simple. We keep talking about these simple principles, and we're like, I know this, right? But we don't do it. So change your thoughts, start to change your thinking patterns, stop the victim mentality, stop the poor me, stop it's never going to get better, and shift it. Replace it with something better, replace it with something more empowered, and every time you notice that trigger, that thought, that low frequency thing pop into your soul or pop into your mind, replace it with something else. Know what you're going to interchange with that, so it's a seamless lifestyle change for you. The next thing is going to be priming yourself. Now, have you guys ever tried to fake laugh and then you end up really laughing? Sometimes it slips into like you're laughing so hard you actually pee your pants. Has anyone did that? Like, drop a comment if that's relatable, because me and one of my best friends, like, we always used to do this as kids. We would just look at each other in the car and we would start laughing, fake laughing, and then it would turn real. That's because, again, like, we are priming our brain for a certain experience. So if you're fake laughing and it turns into real laughing, what's the difference of priming your mind to say, I am a millionaire, for you to turn into a millionaire? Or for you to say, I'm attracting my soulmate, and then for you to meet this dreamy man? Like, it works the same way. So try it after this video. Honestly, sit there and fake laugh. I'm literally laughing thinking about it. And I can guarantee you it might feel silly, but it will turn into a real laugh, because the more we can prime our body for the things we want, and prime our mind for the things we want, and prime our feelings for the things we want, our frequency is going up, 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 up constantly in every way, shape, or form, through thoughts, feelings, beliefs, actions. And that really changes the game, because at that point, it's almost like you start acting as if you have before it's here. And that is so important. So prime your life and expect the things that you want to call in, and clear and make space. Make capacity, make brain space for the present moment. Make space in your house if you're trying to manifest a new couch. Clean out the clutter in your wallet if you want to manifest abundance. Like, you really have to prime every piece of you, mind, body, soul, reality, for the things you want, in order for your frequency to really touch the frequencies of the things that you want. The second thing that you can do, third thing actually, is going to be change your physiology. This is so simple. What do I mean, change your physiology? Move your fucking body. Literally, this can skyrocket your energy. So if you are a avid gym goer, keep doing what you're doing. I would encourage you to meditate after working out because your body will just be tingling from head to toe. So what I do honestly to to change my physiology and raise my frequency this way is I put on my favorite music and I just dance around the house and I jump up and down like a child, like nobody is watching. And yes, the first couple times I literally was like, okay, this is kind of ridiculous. But in the end, I felt different. My energy was raised. I knew it. I could feel it. My fingers are tingling. I felt better. I felt lighter. I felt happier. All because I changed my physiology, which impacts your frequency quite directly. So it can be as simple as going outside for a walk or a run or dancing or yoga or taking a cold shower. Have you guys ever heard people do that? Because I know I'm not the only one. This is something Tony Robbins does. He literally gets in a ice cold bath to awaken his senses and bring him to the present moment, shock his physiology so his energy can increase. I don't take a whole cold shower because I'm just not that tough, but I will give myself a cold blast right before I get out to really, really tune into my soul and tune into my senses, and I feel my energy shift. So it could be as simple as taking a cold shower or blasting your favorite music. It should be fun to change your physiology. You should feel better, even if it feels corny at first, because let's not pretend that's not an ego issue we all deal with. Is like, I feel silly with affirmations, or I feel silly jumping around, or I feel silly meditating. Like, honestly, get over it. That is my advice to you, because if you want to see real change in your life, you have to change what you're doing every day. You can't just make small changes. You can't make a change once a week. You have to change the way you live your life day in and day out if you want a long-lasting, sustainable, tangible, incredible up-level and change in your life. Another thing you can do is gratitude. In the workbook today, I think you guys have to put 20 things that you're grateful for. This is a super, again, simple thing that you can do. You could start your day with this. You could end your day with this. 10 things you're grateful for in the morning, 10 things you're grateful for at night. This raises your vibration because gratitude carries a very, very, very high frequency. It vibrates at a very high energy. So if you can always stay in a state of gratitude, you are already one step ahead of the game. Something I like to ask my husband before we get out of bed is, babe, what are 5 things you're grateful for? Sometimes he's like, he has a hard time searching sometimes. And I say that because I want you guys to think of everything you have to be grateful for: the roof over your head, the food in your fridge, your favorite candle, warm coffee in the morning, the tough ass times that made you who you were, that taught you serious lessons, right? Being grateful for everything. You should be able to jot down 20 things you're grateful for easily. So start incorporating that into a morning routine. Start incorporating a cold shower or yoga or a workout. Start incorporating affirmations, saying, I am abundant, I am loved, I am grateful, I am blessed, I am whole. Start changing things in your life that you know are going to impact your frequency. Change the conversations you participate in. Again, if you're talking to people at work and it's about judgment and the boss sucks and this work sucks and I'm gonna call in tomorrow, like, that is so low frequency. If you are mad and resentful at your spouse or your friend and you're holding on to that and you're thinking about what you could have done or what they should have done and how it's going to be healed, that's low frequency. Put yourself in check. What are you thinking about? Are you in the past? Are you hardwiring your brain to live in the past? Because when that happens, you just create more of the same. And then people wonder, why haven't I manifested? And I'm so confused because I was doing the affirmations and all of the things. But if your frequency, mind, body, and soul isn't vibrating at a high level all the time, then you're not in alignment. There's a disconnect there that we're going to have to work on. Because again, the mind doesn't really know the difference between reality or what's going on in our mind internally and what we feel. So thoughts impact feelings, feelings impact beliefs, all of these things combined impact your frequency, and working with the law of vibration and the law of attraction, if you can elevate your frequency to match the things that you want, you become a vibrational match to it. Now you're manifesting. Now that sucker's attracting into your life so fast, so you better hold on tight and prepare for it, because once that starts happening, it's like this snowball effect. And that's why tonight for soul work, you took inventory of your thoughts, but now let's take inventory of our feelings. Let's see if there's trends. Let's see if they correspond with one another, and let's see if by changing our thoughts we can also change our feelings. So a lot of people get really tripped up on this because they're like, I really don't get how I can change the way I feel. And this was me too. It genuinely was. I was always like, there's no, like, people can't help how they feel. That's how I always was. Now I know that thoughts really directly impact how I feel. So it has to start at a thought level. It has to start in your brain. You have to start the hardwiring up here for you to feel something differently inside. And like yesterday, we talked about embodying that higher self version of you. So figuring out what it is that you want. And a lot of you guys are here because you want some awesome things. Like, you're not trying to manifest $10. You're trying to manifest soulmates and homes and cars and businesses and healing depression and getting rid of anxiety. Like, you are looking to massively up level. And if you like want these huge, massive things, you can't get them and attain them by being the same person you are today. You have to figure out, okay, I want this thing over here, but who do I actually have to be to become that? And then once you start taking on those traits, like for me, again, getting my nails done is something my $1 million self does. Now, by embodying some of those traits, you do begin to feel what it would feel like to have the things that you want. So it takes some effort on your part of becoming that person every single day, more and more, controlling your frequency and raising it as much as possible, even through the shit storms. So yeah, it might be easy to control and think high thoughts and be high vibe on a day that nothing's really happening, but the test and challenge comes when you get a flat tire, or you're stuck in traffic, or you get laid off from work, or your kids are really stressing you out. Those are the moments that you have to say, okay, let me put myself in check. Let me make sure that my thoughts and my feelings are not living in the past. Let me make sure that I am intentionally choose to live in the now and choose thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that are good for me, that are good for my family, that are going to help me grow, not things that are going to attract more bullshit in my life. So honestly, think of it as a short-term sacrifice for long-term gain, because it might be hard in the moment, because even like I was saying earlier, on my bad days, I want to lay in bed, but I don't, because that's a short-term sacrifice. I could say, yeah, let me lay in bed and pout all night, or I can say, I really fucking don't feel like it, but let me go to the gym, let me take a bubble bath, let me read a good book, let me meditate, and I know that that's going to pay off, and I know that's going to help me so much more than taking the easy, unconscious way out and sulking in what's happening. Because the more focus you give to the bad, the more your thoughts go there. It's like a snowball effect. Like, have you guys ever thought, like, oh gosh, money is really tight, I can't pay the bills, but then it turns into like, the daughter I didn't even have yet is never going to go to college because I don't have enough money, and what if the cable gets shut off, and oh my gosh, I don't make enough money because I'm not good enough, and I'm not good enough because I'm blaming my parents and what they did, and I wasn't, and then it's like, literally, you went from just being stressed about your current bill to this snowball effect of why your life sucks, and it's so unnecessary, because that manifests into something so much greater than just a bad thought or a bad feeling. So long term, you want to raise your frequencies by being intentional with your thoughts, because that will impact your feelings, that will impact your beliefs. Change your physiology to raise your energy. Change your feelings to change your energy. Change your state, your moment-to-moment state, to change your energy by being grateful, by being kind, by being excited, by being motivated, by believing that you are capable of anything you desire. And that's where the shift happens. So then when you can tune into these frequencies, make space in your mind, rehardwire your brain, you start to get these divine downloads. And in these frequencies are, as corny as it sounds, the meaning to life. In these divine downloads, I knew what my business was going to be. In these divine downloads, I knew the man I was going to marry. In these divine downloads, God tells me what to price my products at and what to do in my business and what to create and how that flows. So through those divine downloads, I just obeyed. And they don't always make sense. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm getting this strong sense to do something, and it makes no sense to me. But because I know that it's a divine download, I do it anyway. And what ends up happening is I up-level so fast that I'm like, holy shit, that is no doubt that that was not meant for me. So when you can start to raise your energy and tune into these downloads, you are going to start to really understand how in control you really are in your life. So start by changing your thoughts. Tonight's homework is to take inventory of your feelings, and I want to know, what are you guys thinking about naturally? This is not to make anybody feel bad, but like, what are you thinking about? What are those negative thoughts? Because we're going to kind of tie those into tomorrow. This is all going to go in a flow where every day it's going to make more and more sense, but we're really chunking it down because there's so many pieces. This is a really deep concept. There's so much science I wanted to get into, but we would be here for hours if I broke down every single thing today. So what are you thinking about? Where do you find yourself getting stuck? And how can you replace that with new empowered thoughts? And how did those thoughts make you feel? How do they make you feel initially? How do they make you feel 7 days from now after a little bit of repetition? What are you noticing about what you're feeling? What are you noticing about what you're experiencing and what you start to believe and what you start to call into your life? You are going to transform from the inside out once you can start to be intentional with your thoughts and your feelings. So we're going to start there. And I'm catching up. Okay. Mom of 4. Kelsey's a mom of 4. My mom is a mom of 3. She actually has me and a 9-year-old. So we're 14 years apart, which is crazy. Carrie, fake it till you make it. Yes. Alex, I needed this reminder today. Yes. Okay. This was super fun, guys. Any other last minute questions? Robin's at work, but she wanted to say hi. Hey. Hey, Erica. Okay, guys, this was a good one. If you have questions, again, use the hashtag #AskTaylor. I've got a ton of emails. I've got a ton of DMs. I have a ton of people asking me so many questions. So I promise I will get back to you, but the best way to get a quick question is going to be through the hashtag #AskTaylor in the group, and that way maybe if someone else has the same question, it will be answered all at once. So this is energy. This is frequency. One question came in from React. I'm actually going to answer. Okay, what would you say to a child that asks for something, but at the moment you can't do it? Maria, it's honestly like a perspective change. So instead of saying like, mommy can't afford that or you can't have that, we can say, you know, how can we raise some money to get this? How can we get creative to make this attainable? If it's financial or something else, like instead of saying we can't, open it up to say, how can we? And start that conversation and start to teach them to believe the same things, that they can call in the same way as anybody else. Okay, questions are coming through, so I have a couple minutes. I'll stay on and answer because I love this part. Okay, Kelsey, my biggest issue is anxiety, social anxiety, not being able to go out and socialize because I'm afraid of what other people will say of me. Okay, this is not really super related to frequency, but I'm going to answer it anyway. So I think your issue, Kelsey, because it sounds like the same issue I had, it is all about your ego, which is not your true identity. This is something that we go way deeper into in Laws of Life, because this is really like a person by person situation. But basically we have our ego, which is like our name and like the kids we have and where we work and what kind of car we drive, and it's this picture that we and society have painted of who we are. So you are painting something that doesn't believe in yourself, or other people are telling you that your voice isn't worth being heard, something around, and I think tomorrow will really help you, Kelsey, because we're talking about limiting beliefs, and it sounds like you have some in regards to yourself and your confidence. So I would say, let's talk about the law of oneness. The law of oneness is another universal law, and there's so many, hence why my program is called Laws of Life. But the law of oneness basically says that we are all one, we are all connected at a soul and energetic level, and we are also connected at a soul and energetic level to God, source, creator, energy, the universe. So we're all connected, and we are connected through the divine. So where I found a lot of my self-love was knowing that it's my divine birthright to be happy, and it's divinity within me, and I am connected to successful people as much as I'm connected to people who struggle, but I am connected to everyone as a whole. We share the same struggles, but we share the same wins. And that really helped me say, I can do this. And I can feel a sense of love and a sense of confidence knowing that I'm connected to that creator and to that purpose. And I struggled with this when I was coming out with my business, because I was like, what are the people I went to college going to say? What are the people I went to high school going to say? What's my family going to say? Because I'm not using my college degree to pursue the entrepreneurial journey. But it's when you can shed that layer of skin through the law of oneness, but also through the law of vibration. Because if you're hiding and you're timid, that obviously is going to put out a low frequency. So we'll dive into that tomorrow. Make sure you reach out to me and we can talk limiting beliefs. Okay, so many things. My biggest negative trait is getting frustrated, especially with my kids at bedtime and my husband. Totally relatable, Renee. I've been a little cranky with my husband the past week. I've been super busy prepping for this challenge, so totally relatable. Okay. I end up hollering at kids at bedtime. Oh, it's Renee again. That's so funny. Okay. How can you put a positive spin on the loss of a loved one? Gail, this is a good question. Everything we're talking about comes down to consciousness. And the thing to understand, and I'm glad we touched on the ego a little bit here because it's relevant now, we are energetic souls having a human experience for a very short amount of time. So the person that you lost, you didn't lose. They are still energy that exists around us, but their ego and their physical body is lost. And I know people are like, well, you can't touch them, you can't talk to them, so it is a loss, and it is, and I'm so sorry for yours. But that really can bring you comfort to understand that at a soul level that they're still here. And if by the law of oneness we're all connected, not only are they still here, but they're still within you. So I would really encourage you to connect with that through meditation and talk to the person, because at an energetic level they are still very much here, because energy doesn't disappear and it's always moving around. So they are always present. Okay. I've never been able to get into a meditative state, and it's killing my frequency. Well, Haley, I don't think you struggling with meditation is impacting your frequency as much as you think. It's really more things. It starts with your thoughts. It starts with your feelings. Getting in a meditative state, if you will, helps you connect to those divine downloads and make capacity. But honestly, for anyone out there, because I know there have been a lot of meditation questions, and this is something we dive more into in Laws of Life rather than in the challenge, because my brother, coincidentally enough, he's a meditation teacher by trade. So he teaches at local colleges and local high schools meditation classes. So the thing to really understand is that all the point of meditation is to detach from yourself, detach from what you know, detach from time, detach from stress, detach from everything, and just exist. So by doing that, there are so many techniques you guys can do. I mean, I started, I think I started with the Headspace app way back, because I wouldn't even let my brother teach me when I first started to get into this. I was like, I gotta figure it out for myself. But what that app did was, like, you breathe in 1, breathe out 2, breathe in 3, breathe out 4. You do that up to 10, and then you start again at 1. And if you can keep your awareness there, that will help you naturally tune off to the things that don't matter, that are going in the automatic subconscious mind. Because what you'll find is you will be like, 15, 16, shit, oh my gosh, because you weren't even paying attention, but you thought you were. So I would start there. If you're having a hard time silencing everything else going on in your mind, I would start by that simple counting exercise. All right, guys, so much fun. Okay, I think those are all the questions coming through. So this was really good. This was obviously a heavy one because we're talking a lot about science, a lot about energy, frequency, atoms, chemical makeup, physiology, all these things. But allow yourself to go back to the simple concepts of move your body, change your thoughts, embody the version of you who has the things that you want. And by doing that, you have to get clear on what you want and who you have to become and start there. Tomorrow, we're talking all about limiting beliefs, a little bit more about the subconscious mind, how those beliefs impact your life, where did they come from, how can you heal from them, and how can you accept new beliefs to be true. So tomorrow is going to be a really good day. And then on Thursday, we are talking about manifesting big desires using my manifestation technique called the Block Method. So super excited, and I will see you guys then. Bye, guys. Happy Tuesday. My computer froze, so I'm actually, okay, there it is. All right, bye, guys.